Hey guys, welcome back to Pep Talks with Lalo. I'm Pep.
I'm Lalo.
And we're back giving you guys another show, man. This one's very exciting because it is our first live recording. So we're here at the barber shop. And, Lalo, how was your week, man, so far?
It was good, man. It was crazy, excited. I got engaged.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's just, from now, it's just Señor Lalo. I don't know. Nah, man, just, it was stressful, but it was exciting. And, now I got a whole wedding to plan and stuff, so.
What the fuck? I forgot about that. Man, but joining us today are some people, man, these guys are like the ones that make sure we look fresh every week. These guys are the ones that decide if we're going to get some girls that weekend at the club or if we're going to stay at home. So, introducing, my personal barber, Joaquin.
Hey, what's up?
And another barber, close friend, Leo.
My name is Leo. You guys can find me at Leo Cut It.
Leo Cut It.
IG.
Yep, Clipper J.
Clipper J. So, basically what ever since I started the podcast, I think this is one of the topics I've been wanting to get into, especially because, I talk with, like, Joaquin a lot about it. He just asks me questions, like, how did you come up with this, or how did you do that, or, like, I tell him about, like, what we did this week or stuff like that. So this was always kind of something that I always wanted to do, especially here at the barbershop. And I knew I wanted to do it in video. I'm so excited. It's, like, the first time we're doing it in video so people can see, like, what happens, what goes on after. But besides that, it was just kind of like, hey, when are we gonna do it? We're gonna do it, and it was always the same thing, like, oh, we'll do it soon, and we did. Until right now, I was just like, it's a new year. We want to start off fresh. We want to give you guys something good to listen to see. So I was like, fuck it, let's do it. This is gonna be our first actual recording, and we're gonna do it here at the barbershop. But man, I'm really excited about that. Is this your first? I don't know if this is your first time doing like a podcast or a radio show or something like that.
Go ahead, Joaquin.
Yeah. It's my first, man. You guys are my first, so thanks for go ahead and popping that cherry for me, man.
And then I've me as a barber. This is probably the third podcast interview I've been in, but I'll talk about the details why I was in the other two.
Oh, okay,
Nice.
That sounds good. Do you get your haircuts with anybody?
No, I get my girlfriend.
Yeah. Actually, that's
One of the best ways to do it, man.
Yeah, no, man. We get into arguments sometimes.
Hey,
No, I'm kidding.
Joaquin, I'm like, yeah, we can tell.
I wasn't trying to say nothing, but
I was waiting for somebody to say that.
Yeah.
All right, that was a good one. No, but I remember I used to get mine cut by girls too.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking shit or anything. I love their craft and everything, but goddamn, I did not look as good.
Yeah, I need to come check it out.
So my first time getting a haircut with you, now that I remember, was last summer. It was last summer. Well, in 2018. So that was like basically 2 years ago now.
2 years ago,
So it's been 2 years that I've been coming to him, exclusively. I think it was probably just like once out of like 2 years that you started getting really, really busy. And I remember before I used to be like, fuck it, I'm gonna just ask him the day before. I would text him. Now you have to go on like on Squarespace and stuff like that. So but that's good. You like seeing him. I mean, but all of you guys are like that right now, right? You guys are all pretty fucking busy now.
Luckily, man. Shit, we're coming up, honestly. At the same time, this is only the beginning, man. We have like a lot more things we have planned. Just individuals and at the same time partners too, man. It's just only the beginning, bro.
That's what's up.
That's only the beginning.
Yeah, it's been like that for you too. Like you've been getting busy like that.
Yeah, I started working at the barbershop a little over 2 years ago, and when I first started, man, I had like 6 clients. They were all the homies, and I got a degree in college, was working in Buckhead doing office work, and throughout, the whole time of me going to high school, college, I was cut hair on the side, so I had friends that were like always getting their haircut with me, and I ended up at the barbershop, and man, I remember that one day I walked out with $20.
Oh shit!
One head, bro. I cut one head. I was like, yo, this, it's pretty discouraging, but if you know your craft, man, all it takes is you to get all the walk-ins, and once those walk-ins come in, they become clients,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I started with one head cut a day and leaving with gas money. That's it.
Basically.
So.
I mean, I feel like that's with everybody. Once you start,
Yeah,
you
I think
always have to start.
that's in everything, right? When I was a server or bartender, I would go with days like that. Or when I was playing in a band, we would go and break even or lose. Just after paying hotel, food, and little green, good stuff, and ya no tenías nada, pero
But I feel like at the same time,
vas,
when do
little by little you go more.
when you do stuff like that, it's kind of like I enjoy it. So, and for me to do something that I enjoyed or something that didn't take as much as like going to work at a job that I didn't really like, it makes you kind of feel like a little bit more fulfilled at that point. What about you, Joaquin? How was it when you started?
Man, when I first started, luckily I had a lot of friends, man. A lot of people that kind of supported me. So once I announced that I started working here, everybody just came in, showed me love and everything. And they kind of took their chances with me, you know what I mean? I was cutting before too, but at the same time, like, I was still kind of starting up. So my cuts weren't, or definitely aren't, what they are now. So, I definitely respect everybody that kind of gave me a chance at first, man, because, hey, I was fucking people up, man.
Yeah.
I was fucking people up.
I feel like that's that's a big thing too. Like you have to find those people that, damn, if I fuck up, they won't like try to sue me or something.
With me, it was my brothers. Growing up, I just always cut their hair and got a lot of practice with them. And then the friends that trusted me to cut their hair. By the time I got to the barbershop, I kind of knew what I was doing. It was just a matter of getting that clientele.
Mm-hmm.
Were you ever put in the beginning? Were you put in a situation where you were like, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this, like this guy's asking for too much, or this is out of my comfort zone?
Yeah, in my case, so when I first started at the barbershop, I didn't do any shear work, no scissor cuts or anything like that.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah, like anything over, I don't know, the highest clipper guard, which is number 8. I was like, damn, So I was just finessing it. Just whoever came, they're like, yeah, I want little scissors on top. Just trim a little bit. I was like, all right, fuck it. Let's see how this looks.
Experiment.
I mean, the good thing is, though, growing up and seeing good haircuts, knowing what a good haircut looks like, you kind of, you know how to kind of imitate that look. So you kind of know how to get to that. Even if you put with it whatever tools you got to use, you kind of work with it and make it look,
That's what's up. Damn. Now that reminds me a lot because like I remember when I started, I cut grass now. Like I have a little landscaping company. And when I first started, I started with a couple of friends, and we didn't have a edger, and I still to this day I have an edger, but I like don't use it. I use like a weed eater because that's all I had was that, a push mower, and it was like those big fat like riding mowers, not the zero turn like the one that you see. It was those fat ones. So then, but I mean, luckily they started coming out good. Some jobs were a lot harder, it took a long time, and it was the same thing. Like we would come back and we'd be like, fuck, dude, like. This is what we made. The weekly, like, what we would make weekly wasn't anything, but it was like, in my mind, I was like, I'm doing this for myself. Like, this could become something else. Even if I don't get to become like a big landscaper or something like that, the aspect of like the business, like what it takes to be an entrepreneur, I feel like that's like something that a lot of people are like either scared of, or, they'll never have to experience in their life, or they'll never push themselves to like experience that. So I feel like that's a big step because it's like, a lot of people, they have like their jobs, and that's fine. People have to make money and everything. But at the same time, they've never taken that risk. But once that risk pays off, man, that's just like, that's another high right there. That's pretty chill. But besides that, like, what drove you to like doing barber? Like what, cause you guys started like around high school. So it's like, besides playing sports, besides hanging out with friends, what drove you to be like, I'm gonna start cutting hair? Like, what was it?
Well, okay. Let us know about your journey.
Well, I mean, honestly, first I started off just cutting my own hair, man. I used to give myself like mohawks and stuff like that. Yeah, even Caesars all over. You know what I mean? That Daddy Yankee style and stuff, man. Just because it was like basic cut, and I would always kind of want my stuff clean. So personally, like I would look at it that way. Just kind of like self-maintenance, and then it came to maintenance in my brother, my little brother, and everything like that. So it just kind of grew from there, little by little. I started working different jobs here and there. I could never find something I kind of liked and kind of wanted to stick to. Went to school for a little bit too, Chattahoochee Tech. Didn't like that at all. And then pretty much up until one point where I was working at Builder Surplus. It's like a hardware store over there off of Atlanta Road.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yep. So, messed up story. I got fired for honestly just not communicating with the managers, or actually the store manager, and within each other. And after that, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and go to school for barbering, kind of perfect the craft a little bit and get more comfortable, and just kind of jumped in straight through there, man. But yeah, man, it just started from there, man. Just trying to figure myself out first of all, and then I also was growing up as well. They did tell me my grandpa was a barber, so that kind of like gave me more motivation too. I honestly I didn't get to know him like I wanted to when I was probably like 5 years old. I guess that's when you start like remembering things. Like I mean, kind of knowing what you're doing. And he was just in a wheelchair. He wouldn't talk or anything like that. I'm not sure what he had, but it was some sort of like I guess disease where he couldn't talk or anything. So yeah, man. So I kind of like felt like that was a way to kind of connect with him. Yeah, man. But yeah, shit.
Wow. So that goes. It's like
That's
deeply
deep,
embedded
yeah.
in
Yeah,
you
bro.
from back then, and something that you didn't even really knew, and it just
Exactly.
came out of nowhere. Sometimes, like how they say, things are meant to be.
Yep.
That's what's up. That's fucking interesting. You do.
My story is somewhat similar as far as the way how he ended up with doing the barbering. Barbering for me started when I couldn't take my dad's jacked up haircuts anymore. You know, I went to Arkansas to some of my cousins over for a summer, and they all used to cut their own hair. It was three brothers, and they faded me up one day, and I was like, damn, this haircut looks pretty nice, and you know, vacation ended. I came back home, and I was like, damn, now I'm back to my dad's shitty haircuts, and
Oh, so your dad cut your hair?
yeah, but he wasn't a barber or anything.
Oh, I thought you were tired of his haircut. Like your haircut looks ugly. You were telling him.
My dad's haircuts were horrible.
Oh,
yeah.
he used to cut your hair. Oh,
And then I
God.
went to my cousins over the summer, and they cut my hair, and they were pretty good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I saw what a good haircut was back in like when I was in middle school, and going to high school, I was like, man, I gotta do something about these shitty haircuts, before I go to high school. And I started kind of cutting my own hair. I have two younger brothers, so they were like my practice, huge, big time practice. Started cutting their hair, and things started looking pretty decent. And friends started asking for haircuts, and fast forward, I guess like 10 years later, I'm in a barber shop working alongside with Joaquin and some other guys. But I went to school, graduated, got a degree in IT, worked in Buckhead for about 9 months until I got let go. It was somewhat of a let go slash I decided to step out too. I didn't really wasn't comfortable, wasn't happy in the time that I was in, the setting that I was in the office and the company I worked for. So I decided to let go of the corporate world and become more of an entrepreneur and work for myself. And I was doing telecommunications for DirecTV, and then that job, was installing satellite cable and stuff like that. That got slow at one point. So then I ended up at the barber shop here because I knew Stefan. He was living with me at the time. And he was like, yo, talk to the owner here. Maybe you can cut hair here. You already got some clientele. And, you can get new clientele here. And, yeah, so I started working here. And, I found a passion for it now. So here we are.
The layout of this, like, business, like, that I've noticed, it's I like how it's, like, you guys have been not recruited, but it's a team of, like, I've seen like the cuts of other barbers, and it's a team of like well crafted like barbers here. Like it's like legit, like probably one of the best barbershops in Cobb County right now. I know I and it's like every time I come, it's like somebody's different or like somebody I just don't see, but it's like people that I know, but it's from like we go from Mableton all the way up to like East Cobb, and it's people are coming down to just this barbershop. When you guys started, was it like the same? Like was it like, or was the competition a lot like slower?
Joaquin's been here longer, so he'll.
At first it was definitely slow. I think just because at the time when I first started, it was only, let's just say it's probably like 5 barbers here. So the walk-ins and the traffic and stuff, people weren't getting help, so they would like kind of go to different places and stuff just because they'll be waiting here for like an hour, 2 hours, just trying to get a cut. But as far as like sheesh, as far as that, I mean, we kind of damn. I'm like,
I think I know what you mean. I
Yeah.
mean, so we had not as many. Right now we have a full house. There's 8 chairs, 8 barbers.
8 chairs.
Each one of us has our own clientele. Each one of us have our client base where one of my clients refers to another person. So like you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of people coming from like Douglasville, Hiram, Noonan, Norcross, and there's hella barbershops in Norcross, but some of our clients come from over there. And each barber has their, think of it as like a little tree where, I'm at the top, and then my client, he has 3 friends that come to me, and then their friends have other friends. So, once you do a pretty good job and, your referrals, your friends, they tell other people, that's how we've been getting a lot more new faces in here. On top of the local people that are like, they stumble across, our barbershop. They come to Little Caesars, get a pizza, and then they're like, oh shit, there's a barbershop right here, And sometimes when we're able to get walk-ins, I always like to talk to them and say, hey, how'd you know about this shop, or what brought you here and stuff like that. And they just say, yo, I just came to get a pizza and I saw there was a barbershop. How long y'all been here? We're like, the shop has been here for like years. They're like, what? I just now seen it,
And there's people who like live down the street and they're just like, I guess I just never fucking knew.
There's a lot of people in this area. There's a lot of heads to cut, and I mean, once you do a pretty good job, and word spreads and people come back.
Yeah, I know in Mableton there's one barbershop, the first barbershop I ever went to, but that was like even before I even started going back to like the ladies, because my dad would go get his haircut there, and I guess I was just like, fuck it, I'll go too. And they weren't bad haircuts, a lot of the girls who would come out here now we're still friends, but it's just a different, it's kind of like when guys know what like what we like, it's kind of easier for you guys to get a better idea. Girls are just like, I just want it to be short and just like straight, but it's like it has to be a design to it. But I remember my first time was at Goodies. That was my first time ever going into a barbershop, getting the experience of a barbershop. Because we've had that, like literally we're talking and then this conversation goes here, and you start making that environment like, of communicating between everybody, just telling stories and shit like that. The barber that cut my hair and cut it for a while, he left, so it's kind of like I was like, I don't. And I've never had that connection again like, with a barber, like being like that's my barber, until it was like until I met Joaquin, and it was just for the same reason. The reason I came in was Joe was like, yo, call Joaquin. Like, I was going to go out that one night, and I was like, I got to get a haircut, bro. I got to look fresh. We were going to go out. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, got a new shirt, everything. I was like, I need a haircut. I need a fresh-ass haircut. So I came, and he was like, yeah, fuck it, bro. I called him, and he was like, can you come in like 30 minutes? And I was like, down the street. So I was like, fuck it. And that's how I came. And, it's been like that for about 2 years now that we think about it. So it's... that's what I liked about it, because it also gives you guys like it gives you guys a chance to really show like your entrepreneurship, like that you're maybe like this as an institution isn't your own business, but what you're doing at each like desk, it is your business. There's different styles all over these 8 chairs, and that's like what I kind of like really wanted to get into, like what is your style and how did you find it. But besides that, you want to say something?
Yeah, good.
What did you say?
Give us some.
You were gonna say something.
No.
You were like,
Yeah, I was gonna say something, before.
But besides that, for right now, like one question I always ask myself is, who cuts your hair?
Yeah, that's what.
So it's funny, most of us, some of us here cut our own hair, but you work at a barbershop, Joaquin usually cuts my hair, and then you, just like you guys, we got to find somebody consistently, So let's say I let Steph or, one of the other barbers here cut my hair. They're always going to cut it a little bit different than the last barber. So me as a barber, we know just stick with the same person and, your haircut will look the same, or, they'll get better at your head shape, So, yeah, so most of the times I do try to get Joaquin to cut my hair. If he's not available, then I'll ask one of the other guys. But if I just don't have an option, then I cut my own hair.
But, so. I mean, yeah, but it's like, when you cut your own hair, like, how, like, the first time you did that, what was, like, the worst that you ever did to yourself?
Well, I've been cutting my own hair since I was, like, 17, 18 years old, and I started with buzz cuts. And and if you know the difference between a trimmer and a clipper, you don't use a clipper to line yourself up. And I was using clippers to line myself up. And the clippers, they don't give you that fine line like a trimmer does. So the clipper, I would pinch it, I would smash it into my forehead so I can get that crispy line, and it just wasn't working. So later on, I learned and noticed that there's a different tool for your lineups and your edge ups.
Oh, so, that's just what you learn.
But yeah, I mean, I've been doing it since I was like 17, 18 years old. It wasn't amazing, great cuts, but as time goes by, you know how to work with the mirrors. And there's actually a self-cut system mirror that you hang on the back of your door. It's 3-way mirror, and you look to the left, you can literally see the back of your right side of your head. It's super cool. So
Oh shit.
yeah, I got one of those a while back ago, and I use that as really good practice. And then I've now lended that to my brother because he wants to cut his own hair. But yeah, so since now I work at a barber shop and I go to school, barber school with some of these guys, we just stay fresh all the time, you know.
Yeah, we try to.
Do you get your haircut from Leo?
Yeah, it's either well, now that we're at school, it's more consistent weekly haircuts. Leo cuts it, or Isaac cuts it. Honestly, those two really know how to cut my own hair. I mean, like, cut my hair like that. So, and honestly, right now, no offense to the other guys in the shop, but I only trust them right now.
So
Kind of come.
I want to start some controversy. Who cuts better hair, you or Leo?
Yeesh.
Well,
I
who
do.
cuts your hair better, yourself or Leo?
Oh yeah, of course. Joaquin cuts my hair better than when I do it.
Then when you do it,
Yeah.
a lot better, or is it like?
It's good. You could tell the quality of work, and it's a lot faster. I don't have to clean shit up. You know, when I cut my hair, I mean, I take my time. You know, it's like a whole vibe.
You
know,
play
like,
music.
Yeah, you know, but sometimes you don't have time for all that, and so when you rush it, you could tell you rushed it. You know, but
You get like two cuts in the back. You're just like, nah, it's a style. It's a style.
nah, but yeah, I mean, obviously, if somebody else cuts your hair, most of the times it's gonna look good. Better than what you can do.
Yeah, of course, especially the back, man.
That's the back. That's what I don't understand. How you guys do it? Like,
Yeah,
how do
it's
you
tough,
line
bro.
up the whole back? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Well, skin fades, man. You just don't worry about lining shit up. You just skin it and you're good. You know.
Yep.
But what if what if you don't like? What if you have you ever done it where you don't get a skin fade and you're just lining yourself in the back?
Yeah.
Did it come out like as straight as it normally would?
Yeah. I mean, it takes a while. You got to touch it up a few times. You might push it inwards, so you got to like a skinny like line up back there. But yeah, man, it's not the same though. Somebody else is doing it for you, man. Just because it's a lot more different. I don't know.
Well, besides that, what drove you guys to like think about going back to school? Like, you guys are obviously very, very gifted barbers. You're really good at what you do. You guys are having full schedules week after week. But like, what pushed you guys would be like, you know what, I need to go back to school?
Well, me personally, I was going to school, like I said before. I jumped into this barbershop, but unfortunately, that school and the owner, he was going through some troubles. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but the school ended up closing down. Tried to reach out to them to get my hours and try to transfer to another school. No answer. Contact the emails, phone calls, everything, text, whatever I could find, but nothing. So I kind of just gave up there, and just kind of like pretty much took that L. You know what I mean?
You're just like, fuck.
Yeah,
bro.
I was like,
it's like literally over, like gone.
Yeah, that's it. Just cause like I wasn't sure what else to do. I was just kind of stuck there. So I kind of just like, okay, well, I'm in the shop now, so I guess that's all that matters. But then in the long run, I kind of looked at it, and really going to school it would actually help you open up your own shop.
Okay.
And kind of just expand, make it into a full career, being able to open up multiple shops, or just kind of just progress from there. Just by going to school, completing that course, getting that license, and yeah, man, just being official, just being certified. As people would say around here. But yeah, that's about it, man.
And I mean, that's a good way to think about it. Me, it all started when, ever since I started working at a younger age, I've had many jobs. And one reason why I can't keep a job is if I'm not happy, I'm out, And I don't know, I just never been the kind of person that dreads to go to work. And because another reason is when you start working, you want to know what's the next step, where's the growth, how can I become the better person? How can I grow within this job? And when I became a barber, I was cutting hair throughout since high school, college, and working multiple jobs. And then I officially became a barber when I started working here almost 2 years ago. And I found a passion for it. And, you meet so many people. It's a job where you enjoy, getting up, going to work. It doesn't feel like work. You know what I mean? It literally feels like you're out here hanging out with the homies.
That's what I'm like. That's what I'm thinking. And it's fun.
And it's crazy because, I've had jobs where, I got a degree. I went to Buckhead and worked in the office, getting 21 an hour. And I was like, yo, I've made it, man. I got retirement. I got an office job. But it wasn't it, man. Like, I started working here, and I realized the growth and stuff like that. And so every job I've had, I've always wanted to be the best I can be doing at what I was, currently doing at the moment. And being a barber, it's like, all right, so you know, I've got my clientele. You know, I'm pretty busy or whatever. Doesn't mean I'm it. You know, that's it. You know, no. The next step is, what do I do? Well, obviously, you want to be legit. You know, you want to be able to seek other opportunities, and for you to do that is to get a license, be a master barber. So, you know, I ended up going to school and going back to school in this case. And and this is one kind of advice I would like to tell everybody is, it's never too late, you know, and you can always make an excuse. I'm too busy, you know, this and that. I was going through, I had just got married. My wife, you know, it's kind of scary for your wife to tell your wife, hey, I'm going to go work, you know, and I'm not sure how I'm going to make this week, but, you know, don't worry, I got it, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
for her to hear that and going from a stable IT job to, you know, being a barber, it's like kind of scary. But you got to take that risk, you know? And the time I decided to go to school was when my wife was pregnant. She was like 4 or 5 months pregnant, and I was like, hey, I want to go to school, you know, so I can become a better barber. I can be, you know, become a better, you know,
businessman.
Yeah, exactly. Like, invest in myself, you know, and get to the next level. And so my point is, it's not too late. It doesn't matter what you have going on. There's a way to do it, you know? And I was going to school, and I decided, you know, to what some people might say it's the wrong time. Dude, you're about to have a kid. Why are you trying to go back to school? You know, I did it, and I'm like 5 months in it. It hasn't really changed anything. And fast forward, you know, a couple months later now, barbering has provided a lot of freedom, a lot of opportunity. I now have 2 online businesses, and we just closed on a home last week. So
I know that home is nice. I liked it a lot. That shit was
man.
really
Appreciate
clean.
it.
Both of y'all. So right now, like at this point in your life, both of you guys are like almost at the same story. You know?
Yeah, man. I'm pretty close to Joaquin because he has a kid himself, and he has a little boy. I have a little boy. You know, and we all vibe differently in the shop, but you kind of stick with more like-minded people, and yeah.
I remember it was funny. Like the first time I found out you guys were pregnant, you were like, and guess what? Leo's pregnant too. And I was like, oh shit. And he was like, yeah, my wife's pregnant. I was like, what the? Because yours was, you guys are like, what? Your kids are probably like 2 months apart?
2.5, yeah.
So I was like, what the hell? I was like, did you guys even plan this or like what?
Nah.
And this past year, like you yourself closed on a home too and everything. You guys are like starting your whole life now. It's probably like a year now, huh?
About a year.
Yeah, about a year, man.
So it's like both of you guys are kind of like just starting, like you're doing the same kind of like things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that goes to show you, you know, once you put time and effort into what you do, you know, it doesn't matter what you're doing. I mean, you know, possibilities are possible. You know, nothing is impossible. You know what I mean? It's
just like as long as like you feel like you have that tunnel vision towards like what you want, which is like from here you guys have like, you know, a good amount of freedom. You get to, how you say, hang out with the homies most of the time. That shit is fun.
Basically, man.
I like coming here, like sometimes I spend a little more time than I should, you know, at the barbershop.
Hey, you're here right now.
I know. I was like, yeah, I'm here right now.
Even after hours.
So it's just like, you know, I really like that. I was like looking at that and I was like, damn, like it looks like they're having fucking fun. Yeah. You know, and you guys don't do bad in the pockets too. So, but I mean, with the families and with everything going on, like, do you think like this kind of like gives you like your time away, like to be like in your own space?
Hey man, honestly, yeah, it does, but kind of in the not in the sense that it's good staying away. You know what I mean? It's more of like how do I put it, man? I feel like you kind of said it better the other day.
Wait, ask that question.
So it's like when you're here having like, you know, how you said you have 2 separate businesses outside of this. You guys have, you know, families. You have a new kid, new house coming in, everything. Being in this barbershop, doing what you do and what you said you enjoy it, do you feel like this is something that you feel like it's good to be away for a little bit? Like you feel like this is, you know, how people are like, oh, I have to go and my hobbies are to go and like draw or go and like play sports. Like this could be your hobby. Like this could be like your free time. Like for you to get away, not to get away, but you know, it's a little stressful, you know, having a new kid, you know, getting into like having that your own home life now. Like you're a parent, you're an adult. Like this is how your life's gonna be from now on. Like is this kind of like somewhere where you feel like you get away from that and you go into a different zone? Or do you feel like, or do you not feel like, oh, I'm here because of my family, I'm here to support my family, or you're here like I'm here because I enjoy being here still? Like is that like that enjoyment is still here.
Right. Well, I mean, me being here, it's part of the process, man. Me being here funds, the things I have to fund. And it doesn't feel like I'm getting away when I'm here. I mean, I do have to provide, some quality work and meet certain expectations. Being a barber is about customer service.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I just, I'm very lucky that I get to work with 7 other good people, and young people that are kind of like-minded. And the foot traffic that comes in here, it's not some weird guys or anything like that. You meet, new people every time. Your clients themselves, they, you speak with them and you create a relationship with them and stuff like that. And it becomes your network too. The house that I just recently closed on was because my client that was sitting in my chair, we started talking. He's a real estate agent. Now he got me a house. Steph, he cuts the home lender that I got the, loan from.
Oh,
So you know what I mean? It's crazy. And being here, it's not a getaway, but it's also not something I dread to come to. It's just part of life and part of what kind of what do you call it? Just part of the manifestation, man. Just what's meant to be.
But you guys are doing it in a whole different style. Like, this is a style where I enjoy being here instead of like, I have to be here.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like that's a blessing in disguise. Like
it really is.
We're blessed. Like my line of work. I started doing remodeling too, and it's kind of like it's not like the most fanciest job, but at the same time, I always think about it like I get you get the paychecks, you get your compensation for it, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, maybe I didn't make as much as I made at the other job, at what I used to do, but I made this, nobody went out and made it for me. So what else can I do? So it's kind of like now your mind is just like, shit, if I could do this and I'm stable, imagine when I get, when I can do more, when I have freedom to do this, go out on vacation on my own dime. Right. I feel like that just gives you like a whole new sense of self. Like, I did this and nobody else can tell me different because, I'm here because I wanted to be here, because I worked for it. And I see that. Before, I used to think like barbering was just something like, oh, I used to, like a lot of people aren't like open to like seeing that like barber is like a culture now. Like, it's a lifestyle. It's not a job.
Look at that. Barbering, an art, a sport, a culture.
Yeah, and before I was like, it's a haircut. Like, you go and get a haircut. People go in, don't talk to each other, or you wouldn't think of anything like that. But one thing, who I forgot who told me this, but they're like, everybody is a different, you could say like a different level of financially, you could say. Some people go to the most expensive restaurants. Some people go to the cheapest restaurants. Some people drive the nicest cars. Some people drive the cheapest cars. But one thing we all men have in common, we all end up at a barbershop. And that's true. Like, nobody goes to some people go to like the regular barbershops because that's where their barber's at. They can walk in with a Rolex on their wrist, but you're going sitting next to a guy who just got off 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. So that's something that I always like. Once I started growing up and coming here, I started realizing that this is just more than just a fucking haircut. Like, this goes a long, long way. This is now giving you guys the, like the way for you guys to build businesses, build families, build friendships, and, make actual relationships with people that will help you buy a house or, help you fund your next business. Mm-hmm. And that just goes a long way to show that, everything in life is just there until you manufacture it the way you need it to work for you. And that's, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Yep.
But besides that, one thing that I saw a lot, and it's, we talked about it, I think it was like this past weekend. It was that tweet. The $50 haircuts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I kind of heard yours, but like, okay, in seriousness, what do you think about the $50 haircut?
I think it's just more than a haircut, man. Honestly, if you think about it, it's not just honestly just cutting hair too. Like you said, it goes a long way, but it's also therapeutical. You know what I mean? You got somebody to come and talk to about your problems. Just say if you do want to talk to somebody, you got your barber right there. You got somebody you can trust, and at the same time, that haircut goes a long way as well. By appearances, it can help you out 2 weeks. Well, let's just say the haircut lasts for like a week and a half, too, right? If it's a good haircut, man, like you said earlier, it can get you some ladies, man. So you're spending $50 is basically investing in yourself to kind of make yourself feel good, look good, think a lot better because let's just say you're more what's the word, like more
Confident.
confident. There you go, perfect. Yeah, just confident, man. But as well is and as well when I was speaking about that tweet, I'm not sure if everybody read that tweet. I wasn't just talking about just the haircut. You know what I mean? I think about just everything that came with the haircut. Maybe a facial or a black mask or shampoo. But yeah,
I want
honestly,
to
just
yeah,
that.
I want to add to that.
Go ahead.
So a $50 haircut, right? If you just get a fade, you know what I mean, you don't really nothing on the top. $50 haircut is a lot, to some people, but you also have to think, all right, it's more than just a financial thing. If your barber has 300 clients, you know what I mean, and he's slaving himself, working under pressure, working a lot, he's going to raise his prices up to become more available to those other people that actually respect his craft and are, kind of.
You're not bullshitting.
Paying him for the price, because think about it. If I were to charge $20 haircuts, no tip, nothing like that, I'm going to have to work twice, 3 times as hard to get that, certain dollar amount that I'm reaching to. When, what, I'm just going to, you're just so booked. You're so booked. You're so busy. We can't cut everybody. You know what I mean? And so when you raise your prices up, it's saying like, hey, I need all my real loyal clients to come with me. The people that really fuck with you are going to pay that $50 because, they know you're busy and they have to pay that premium price for you. You know what I'm saying? So $50 haircut doesn't mean you're walking out with the freshest fucking fade. No, it's just you're confident in that barber and what he does and how he cuts your hair. You know what I mean? I've had guys that are like, yo, last barber I told him a little bit and he cut like 5 inches off. You are the first barber that actually listens to me when I said I just want a little bit off the top. You know what I mean? And so that comes at a premium price. You know what I mean? When you can go to a barber, you're confident, you sit down, and at the end of the cut, you don't really got to look at the mirror because you're like, yo, if he's going to let me walk out, I know he's got me. You know what I mean? So that all comes at a premium price. If your barber just gets so busy, that's why these barbers raise that price up because they can't be readily available for the $20 cuts every time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you grow as a barber, you grow your clientele, and you just become so busy that one way for you to kind of, weave people out is to raise your prices up, and then you see who are your loyal customers. You know what I mean? Obviously, a $50 haircut, you should give them more time, raise your appointment schedule a little bit more. So instead of a 30-minute cut, you give them about 45 to 50-minute cut, depending on if they have a beard or not, and you focus a little bit more on that person because they're paying you a premium price. You know what I mean? So one way I want to put it this way is, if you're charging $20 for a haircut, right, and you do 2 haircuts at 1 hour, that's $40, no tip, right? If you raise your price up to $40, all right, that same one person, you give them about an hour of your time because now you don't have to cut 2 hairs to make $40. You only have to cut 1 head to make $40. But this person is going to get a treatment. You know what I mean? You're going to give them a hot towel. You're going to give them a black mask. You're going to give them a fresh fade, and you might conversate for a little bit,
God,
you know what I mean?
that sounds like fucking. That sounds
so that's what I'm saying. So, like, you can't just, you want to make $500 in one day, you got to cut about, 20 people that day. You know what I mean? No, you got to raise your price up so you don't work as much, and as you grow, you have to do that,
I feel like the controversy in the tweet was that this kid was 19 years old, and that's one thing I wanted to ask, like, is experience something that has to be looked at in that price? Like, I could come in here and you guys, Joaquin, I pay a reasonable amount, but he's like, I'm charging you a little more now. I'd be like, you know what? You've been in the game for a fucking long time. I've been coming to you for a really long time. So I'm not going to go anywhere else just for $10 extra, Like, it is what it is, And it's not, and not only that, but how you said, like, you've invested. Now you guys are investing in school. You're investing your time into something that's going to make you even perfect your craft much more than what it was, which is, it's a pretty high level as it is now. So imagine when you guys are done doing what you're doing. You how you say, you don't feel like that $20 is where you want to be at anymore. But it was just like, this kid is like, what? He was like 19, right? In the tweet.
Yeah, I believe so.
Wait,
And
the barber or the client?
the barber.
Okay.
And he was like, I'm only 19, charging $50 haircut. I was like, oh, okay. And I don't know. We didn't see nothing, but I didn't see no black mask.
The only thing we did see was just the finished product of the haircut.
Which was a nice haircut. It was a nice haircut.
Was. And within that haircut, you can tell the experience that he had, man. He looks like he's been doing it for a while too.
Yeah.
I was gonna tell you, I don't think age sometimes matters when it comes to experience. I don't really know much about barber. To be honest, I've cut my hair in the barbershop maybe twice in my whole life.
Cue it.
So maybe that's what I'm
Say
saying.
it, say it, Leo.
yeah,
Yeah, I can tell.
I can tell. But and I always hear it from him, from my cousins, like, dude, you need to go. You need to go see a barbershop, blah, blah, blah. Like, like it's a different experience. And I'm just
I'll
like,
give respect to Nelly.
yeah,
I'll
and
give
I'm just like,
respect.
man, like, it's just sometimes I don't have time. But like you guys say, you got to invest in yourself and you got to, like, take the time. But what I was saying with the experience, I really don't think age has anything to, with experience, dude. Because like I said, you are, ¿cuántos tienes?
I'm 20.
20, and you're making it happen. You know what I mean? And I'm 24, and I manage about 30 to 40 employees. So, and I pull up to when customers have a complaint or they ask for the manager and they're like, "What the hell?"
Like,
You know what I mean? Like,
face
is this
of
the manager?
this
You know what I mean? And then I start talking, and they're just like, oh, okay, shit. But you just experience doesn't come with years, dude. With your age, it comes with, I guess, more. It doesn't even matter like how much or how much time you've been doing it. It's just, I feel like it comes down to dedication and passion.
Right.
You can be doing something for 3 months, and the other person can be doing it for a year. But that person in 3 months, if he goes home and practices and perfects his craft,
That's true.
he could be way better than the person that has
That-
been doing it for a year. You know
But
what I
like,
mean?
you
I'm
know-
pretty sure you guys see it. Like, there's barbers that've been doing it for the whole lifetime, and not to be cocky, but you guys probably
Can
are a little better, are in a better position,
They
Then-
That,
can.
that or vice versa. I've been kind of cutting hair since I was like 17 years old. I'm at where I'm at now, but a 19-year-old that's been doing it for 2 years, he might
you go.
have been slaving, just cutting, perfecting this craft a lot more than I was because I wasn't
Right.
passionate about it at the time. So like he said, it doesn't matter about the years and how old you are and how many years you've got of experience. It's just a matter of how dedicated and how repetition practice that you've gotten into it.
I feel like, like how you said, like it's in any aspect of what a business is as long as you go and you put in like the hardest effort you can put. You never half-ass it. You could get somewhere pretty far in about a year,
Right.
or in a little bit less. But yeah, that it was just something that I really wanted to see what you guys thought on. I know it was to a lot of people, even to me, coming in. Now that what I pay for, luckily thanks to the big guy upstairs for the opportunities, I'm able to actually pay for this like nice haircut, pay for for what I pay now, because before it was it was a lot less, but of course you get what you pay for. So it's like now you start to see, and I feel like some people who maybe aren't used to like coming to a barber and coming to all that.
Mm-hmm.
It would be something like, price. I feel like out of everything, price would be something that would be a big aspect of either they're going to come and stay and come here, be like consistent, or, come for one time and be like, you know what, and then I'm just going to go back to the place I'm at. But it's still like a way to look at it. But for the most part, that was a good way to like explain it.
Right.
Yeah, but at the same time, $50 haircuts isn't for everybody. You know what I mean? So if you're not willing to it or to pay $50, or let's just say if you don't make enough income to pay that, that's totally fine. You know what I mean? There's a barber out there for everyone, and it's just
There goes our coworker Juan.
There you go.
Always fucking shit up.
On the daily. Oh man, but yeah, man. It's just not for everyone.
Yeah, like
honestly.
he said, it's not for everyone.
It's not.
Some people can pay, some people can't. But if your barber is absolutely busy, imagine me if I had a line of 20 people and just no appointments, just hey, come get your haircut. I'll be slaving my ass off just to cut these people in line. You know what I mean? When if all you have to do is just raise your price. So obviously it's a premium price, but you're paying because obviously these 20 people waiting in line want to get a haircut by him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Trust. I think it's trust at the end of the day. Because, you can go and get your haircut and then they fuck it up and you have to go and fix it. And it's going to turn out,
Yeah,
the
twice.
same. You know what I
Yeah, you
mean?
end up
So it's
paying
just
the
like.
same. Yeah.
That's what's up. So besides the barbering and stuff like that, what else is a big aspect? I don't know if you want to talk about like the businesses you own, or
Right,
what you're
so
working.
Being a barber, man, it's it's 100% independent work. So we rent out a booth. You know, you come in, you build your own schedule. That doesn't mean you can go crazy and just show up whenever you want. You know,
True.
cancel appointments and this and that. You're running a business, so you want to be professional and have a certain, you know, clientele and let them know how they can find you and the hours that you work. So have some kind of stability. But with that being said, you are able to, you know, you have this kind of freedom where you can do other things. And me, in my case, I went heavy with the 2 brands that I have. I have 2 online businesses. One's a sock brand, and then one's a beard care product. So, you know, the beard care product, I'm able to sell it here at the barbershop. I talk it up, and, you know, guys that never tried beard care products, they try me out. And while I'm at the barbershop selling it here, I'm also selling it online. And then I also have a sock brand where I collaborate with local artists, street artists from Atlanta, get their design on the sock, and then for every pair I sell, I donate a pair. And so while I'm working here at work, you know, my business online is making money online. And with the freedom that does come with being a barber, I'm able to go work on this type of stuff. I'm able to go, you know, to the city and donate the free pair of sock that I can give out. And since we're on the subject, I got a gift for y'all, which is
shit.
So check it out. 1 pair for you and 1 pair for you.
Nah, I'm keeping
Appreciate
both. Here we are, the reveal. Fuck yeah! We got it on camera, bro. Let's
Yes, sir.
Dude.
So one thing about the sock brand is we take pride in our quality of socks. So once you guys put these socks on, I'm pretty positive you guys are gonna want another pair.
Dude, this feels fucking.
They're
like,
quality, bro.
This does not feel
Yeah,
like
they
even
do,
like
they feel
Nike
good.
socks.
Yeah, they're good quality, man. So the designs on there are designed by a street artist from Atlanta, and yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a good business that I have. I started with 2 of my business partners, and
That
you
shit
know,
is fucking dope. And you have like the whole. This is like really like something you buy like at a store. Like this is professional as fuck.
right? It came in a plastic packaging, but I took it off because I knew it was gonna make a lot of wrinkle and noise and stuff like that. But
I appreciate it, bro. This
Appreciate
is
it, man.
awesome.
there's a
They're
little
nice.
there's a little sticker and a business card in there too, so y'all each get a sticker with it too. So
I'm about to put this shit on my laptop for a sticker.
yeah, man.
And then so doing this is like, do you see yourselves expanding to maybe opening a store or stuff like that?
Right, so being a barber, right, you're standing up, working with your 2 hands, you're on your feet, you know, it could be back breaking. In the long term, you're not going to be, you know, some people do, more power to them that if they're 70 years old still cutting, but that's not my plan, you know. 10, 15 years from now, I want to stop cutting hair, run a business, whether it's an actual barbershop or a barber academy, and teach people how to cut hair and run a business. And so, you know, meanwhile, till I get to that point, I have online businesses that are either going to grow or I'm going to, you know, learn from and start another business. You know what I mean? So if one of these businesses catch and, you know, we're able to, you know, actually cut less and then just kind of manage more instead, then, you know, that's a good thing, you know?
It's a win. It's a win in the pocket right there.
Yeah, exactly.
what's
So yeah, it's a start, man. I mean, I'm not saying this business is going to be $1 million business, but if it is, you know, it started from here.
But even now, like I've seen it, like it has grown. You've gotten more artists.
Yeah. We started about almost 2 years ago, and I mean, definitely, you know, a lot of businesses in their first year aren't profitable, and we've been profitable since day one. So
That's
Very
awesome.
nice.
And you,
Yes.
Joaquin, from here, like what, like out of the barbershop, like what's something that you've started looking at, or anything you want to talk about?
Really just brainstorming, man. Definitely kind of picky on just everything I do. First of all, man, I think too much about what I'm trying to do or what I got planned. So nothing yet. I know when you first started this podcast, I was as well at the same page with you, trying to start a podcast as well. But ever since then, I just been focused on just family right now, my kid, I'm sorry. Just because, you know, it's just right now, I think that's the most important thing. And the next thing, I mean, I'm going to do right after that, just kind of try to leave him with something in the future, either if it's a shop, like you said, or even an academy. But right now, yeah, that's what I got right now.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Well, I really like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those socks are super comfortable. And what he does in behind the scenes is too, man, is great, man. He donates to like the homeless.
I did see the
It's
video,
awesome.
you know, so
Here,
like that's
yeah.
something you don't see.
Yeah.
It's like I remember this reminded me a little bit of what was those shoes called? Like, yeah, I know it was a like I think it was like Tom's or something like that.
Oh,
But it's like I never really knew if it really did go that far.
Exactly. So that's one thing we wanted to do with our brand. It's a little different. Is when people say like businesses or organizations for a cause say, hey, we do this, will they repair or repurchase? Sometimes you don't see it happen.
You don't see it.
And so obviously we're small right now, so we're able to physically go do this. But as we grow, we do have a plan to where we could still show you guys what we're doing. And so what we do now is we literally, if I sell 10 pairs of socks last month, I'm going to go donate 10 pairs of socks. One time we sold almost 300 pairs in 1 month, and we went out. We donated 100 pairs to a homeless shelter, and then the other 100 we saved, and we took a trip to New York, and we met up with a guy that's he donates shoes to the homeless, and he's a nonprofit. So people donate shoes, money to him, and he buys shoes and puts them on homeless people's feet. Well, we hit him up, saved 100 pairs from that good month that we had, and we donated 300 pairs of socks that week with him.
Oh,
and,
shit.
Wow.
Yeah, and then what we do here locally in Atlanta is we go out on the streets and we hand donate these socks to the homeless people. And we put it on video because we want people to see this is what you're paying for. This is the cause. We're actually out here doing it. It's not to boast and be like, hey,
Look,
look
I'm
what
doing
we're
this.
doing.
Look, this charity. Yeah,
It's none of
because it's
that,
like that pushed me to like I was like, okay, like this is like gonna change a lot of people's mind of what like charity really is. Like you don't have to feel like you're just giving, because you are receiving a quality product, but now you're also receiving like the thought that, hey, this is gonna put warm socks on somebody.
Yep.
This is gonna make somebody feel a lot better, like at the end of the day. So that's fucking crazy. And for you guys to have these ideas, for you guys to have these lives outside of what used to be just a clipper and a chair, is, to me, it was just like, this topic was just always in my head, because I was just like how does it go this far? Like, how does you learning to like make a mohawk or cutting your brother's hair turn into, now you're funding businesses, you guys have houses now, you have your family now, like you have a life from something that to a lot of people was just like, this isn't a career, or this is like, now it's like a lot of people are starting to see like this is a lifestyle more than anything.
One thing I want to mention is, since we've been in school, we learned that barbers 100 years ago, they were dentists, barbers, and surgeons. So back in the day,
they would do everything.
They did everything.
What the?
Yeah.
Bro, literally a one-stop shop for all those three things, man.
They used to get your teeth pulled, you get surgery, and you can get your hair cut from a barber. That was a profession.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so that's it's a good thing to go to school, man. And we've been cutting hair for so long, but it's never too late to go back to the basics and just at the end of the day, perfect your craft.
Yeah, you gotta go back to the lab and perfect it. That's what's up, man.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, honestly, this is some very insightful conversation. There's a lot of things I didn't really, especially about like I've known you. I've been coming here for about like 2 years now, and never really got to sit down and have a conversation, especially with you, because I get a haircut with him, and you have your clients. You're a busy man too. I think I did get my haircut from you one time too. It wasn't a haircut, but it was like a line up. Remember when Chucho's wedding?
Oh yeah.
I came in with Chucho, and you were just there. I was like, hey, you wanna line me up?
Yeah.
I gotta go to a wedding tomorrow.
Man.
But besides that, anything else you wanna plug in before the end of the show? Any tags you wanna put for like your IG or anything?
Well, I mean, if anything, it's just for anybody that's listening. There's a lot of guys that say, I want to become a barber or this and that. It doesn't take nothing but to do it. A lot of guys are like, hey, so they think they gotta have the fancy clippers. They think no, you don't have to do that, man. Just do it. It's good money. There's a lot of people to cut out here. One thing barbering is recession proof, man. If there's a recession, you're gonna always want a haircut. You know what I mean? So you always have a job, and it's something that I do. I don't mind if there's new barbers, but do it the right way. Go to school, get a license, because we are using blades. We're exposing skin and stuff like that. So there's diseases, infections that you can spread. Just become a barber and go to school, man. It's a lot cheaper than university. It's 1 year, less than 1 year, maybe a year and a half, and you can become a barber. So
at the same time, you guys are a little bit better off than what people would expect.
Right.
And that also, folks, has become just like shit. Like this, is something I should have definitely gotten into. But besides, no, that's a good point. You know, do it the right way because of course, here I've never had a bad experience, but I have like heard of different things from different people going to different barbershops. But it's good to know that you guys, you know, of course, looking at the stations, you guys are well equipped. You guys are well, you know what you're doing, and you know that how you said, like you're taking, and not only giving like doing a service, but at the same time you have to be cautious of how you do that service because this is like could you know hurt somebody at a certain point. Yep. But that's what's up. Anything you want to plug in?
Just really touch up on that. Just do it, honestly. This is actually, I do want to add on something else as well. You know how you mentioned goodies earlier? I used to go to that same barbershop, man. So one, they messed up my haircut right there too. So I gave them another try, right? Okay, I went back, and then I ended up leaving with a disease that I didn't even know about, like a skin disease or whatever. Yeah, it's called ringworm. Yeah, and then after that, I was just like, man, I'm done. I'm done with barbershops, man. You know. So then that's when I started cutting my own hair after that. But yeah, I just want to touch up on that. And this is a profession as well too. A lot of people don't take it serious. You know, they really just think like barbering is just a hobby. It's just more to that, man. It's
or like a side hustle.
Yeah, or like a side hustle. But now it's more to that, man. It's just a profession. And you're kind of just taking care of others as well. You know, like you touch up on Leo's statement as well. You know, kind of exposing people to blades, and just other stuff as well. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I just wanted to touch up on that. That's it, man.
Besides that, man, this was awesome. One more for the books, man. I'm really glad that, you know, we got to do this. I'm really thankful for you guys to lending us the shop, you know, helping us. I know it's a little late, but I really appreciate you guys coming out, you know. Well, letting us come out. Well, you guys staying out. You guys are, you know, it was pretty late today, guys.
A long day.
But besides that, I really appreciate you guys. Your tags on Instagram. Where can people find you guys?
Yes, so we are at Clear Choice Barbershop. On Instagram, you can find me at Leo Cut It.
Leo Cut It.
Clipper J. Clipper with a K.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a dot in it, no?
Yeah, Clipper.J, yeah.
Clipper.J. And of course at
Lalo_Cura.
Lalo_Cura. And you know, your host with the most, Pepster_17. Here with Pep Talks with Lalo. And this was a successful fucking episode. Really excited to, you know, put it out. Let's see what people